Financial specialist.
And as part of your job duties, do you have access and information from employers regarding our customers' wages?
Yes.
And do you have that information for Mr. Everett?
Yes, I do.
And so what was his monthly gross?
Monthly gross is $12,133.25.
Whoa. Let's be honest about it, Mr. Everett. You testified that you make $3,500 over 2 weeks, but your employer told the state of Texas that you made over $145,000 last year. That's a lot more than $3,500 every 2 weeks. That's not what you said before. Before you said you didn't want back child support in this case because you didn't think that Mr. Everett could afford it. Now you're changing your mind in regards to that?
We did talk about she was going to waive the back child support. For whatever reason, she done changed her mind because of the living conditions. She done waived it. She done said she wants the back child support. God forbid what that's going to be. But anyway, Asia has already moved to Houston. And I disagree with the fact that I disagree with the fact that she's already in Houston.
I need to get this addressed right now. Is that true, Ms. Randall? Have you already moved to Houston?
I have, and then I have not moved there.
Ms. Randall, that's a pretty simple question, and it only requires a yes or no answer. Or do you not live in Houston? Ms. Randall, you don't get to have all of it. You don't get to live where you want to live in violations of the laws of this county that I practice in, that I'm one of the judges in, but then move off somewhere else and hope that I'm going to continue to hit Mr. Everett for max child support and max retroactive child support. Mr. Everett, I've just placed on the screen a copy of the alleged DNA test results in regards to the child journey. Is it okay if I see these results?
Yes.
State's Exhibit A is admitted into evidence.
So he is the father?
That's what the DNA test results show. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You know how many other children he may have under the age of 18 besides Journey?
Maybe 2, because it's some stuff that I don't know. So maybe 2.
Are you asking for back child support?
No, I don't want to do the back child support because he said he cannot afford to do the back child support.
Okay.
Bendron Everett.
Where do you work?
I work with Indorama Ventures.
And how long have you worked there?
Ma'am, I didn't hear you.
How long have you worked there?
About it 4.5 years, something like that.
And how much do you make an hour?
I make $3,500 every 2 weeks, gross.
And does that include your overtime?
I don't have any over. That's straight 40-hour weeks. I work from 6:30 to 3 every day.
And you don't make any overtime?
We made overtime. We had it freeze, and the plant was down. The lady was explaining to me that she got me down for making $6,000 a month. I wish to God I was making $12,000 a month.
It's shocking that he's trying to paint himself as struggling financially. With a confirmed annual income of $145,000, the idea that he's barely making ends meet on $3,500 every 2 weeks just doesn't add up. This isn't about seeking sympathy, it's about responsibility. As a parent, his priority should be ensuring his child's well-being, not spinning a misleading story. This kind of denial is exactly why cases like this end up in court. At the end of the day, excuses don't pay the bills or secure a stable future. It's time for him to step up and fulfill his obligations.
My employer stating that we are not operators. I'm just a craftsman. I have a craftsman job that we work from 6:30 to 3. We don't work 12-hour days like the operators do out here. Operators are the ones that get all the overtime and all that because they on shift work. We only work from 6:30 to 3. And the only time we do get overtime if the plant go down or if this freeze happens. We all hands was on deck to get this plant back up and running. And I showed Deja my check stub where I had made a decent amount of money.
Okay. Do you have
earning a 6-figure salary yet failing to add his child to his insurance? That's not just an oversight, it's outright negligence. He knew this issue would be addressed in court, yet he showed up unprepared. His indifference is troubling. Parenting isn't a casual responsibility to brush aside, it's a commitment. If he's this careless about something as essential as insurance, what other duties is he neglecting? His priorities clearly don't align with his child's well-being. It's time for a serious wake-up call.
Our think
How much
all my
would
kids.
How much would that cost for you to add the child to your insurance?
I'm not sure. I'm paying $350 right now. I'm not sure how much would it be. $350 to $300 right now.
And is that a month?
I don't think I don't think that would be like they take that out. They take right at $300 every paycheck out my check on insurance.
Okay. And how
But the
often?
medical
How often do you get paid?
bi-weekly. I get twice
Okay.
a month.
And how many other people are on that insurance?
8 of my
Having 8 children yet debating responsibility for just one isn't just irresponsible, it's reckless. Fatherhood isn't a title to wear if you're not stepping up to provide. What's his plan? Let the court clean up his mess while he dodges accountability. Parenting isn't about numbers, it's about commitment. It's not just about having kids, it's about raising them. His choices don't just reflect poorly on him, they directly impact the children who deserve better. Every child needs support, not excuses.
that's under 8. That's 12 and 13. I got my 18-year-old, and I got my 17-year-old, and I got it'll be 16-year-old on my insurance, and myself. What is it? That's about seven of us.
So 8 total?
Yes,
And how many of those 8 are under the age of 18?
not including my wife. It's 6 of them. Let's see, 1, 2.
How many children do you have under the age of 18 that are not included in this order?
6 children.
And all of those are under the age of 18?
Yes, including Journey. Yes.
But I was asking that aren't in this order. So not in this order, you have 7
Oh
other.
no, not in this order. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids.
So you have 5 children, not including Journey, that are under the age of 18.
Yes.
Okay. And do all of those children live with you?
2 of them do.
And then,
The rest, the other 2, they sometimes they visit me at my apartment and down here.
okay, so 2 children live with you, and then you have 3 others. Are you ordered by a court to pay child support for those other 3?
Yes.
Your Honor, I don't have anything further of Mr. Randall. I'd like to call Ms. Finch.
Go ahead.
Ms. Finch, can you state your name, please?
Sabrina Finch.
And you work for the Office of the Attorney General?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you worked for them?
A couple of years.
And what is your job title?
Financial specialist.
And as part of your job duties, do you have access and information from employers regarding our customers' wages?
Yes.
And do you have that information for Mr. Everett?
Yes, I do.
And what quarters have you looked at for his wages?
First quarter of 2021, fourth quarter of 2020, third quarter of 2020, and second quarter of 2020, 12 months.
Okay, in the second quarter of 2020, how much did he make?
He made $38,633.50.
Whoa.
Quarter. No.
I need Miss Finch.
For that quarter. I'm sorry.
No, I just heard 3 different figures.
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to, for the second quarter of 2020, he made $34,822.58.
And for the third quarter of 2020, how much did he make?
$40,563.71.
And for the fourth quarter of 2020, how much did he make?
$31,356.36.
And the first quarter of 2021, how much did he make?
$38,858.26.
And so what was his total gross for the last 12 months?
Total gross was, just to round it off, it was $145,599.
And so what was his monthly gross?
Monthly gross is $12,133.25.
And so would his net fall under the maximum net of $9,200?
Yes, the net was $8,911.69.
So it's under the $9,200.
Right.
Were you able to determine what the child support would be, or did you know how many other children he had?
Well, when I spoke with Mr. Everett, The impression that I received was that he had 3 children on another case, but one of those children had emancipated on his other child support case. And then the 2 children that are in the home with him, I was under the impression that those were stepchildren. I didn't calculate those in.
Okay.
So I was under the impression that those weren't his biological children. So he only had 2 other children that he's currently paying child support for. So that's the basis of my calculations. On the health insurance, he wasn't able to tell me how much he was paying. He actually indicated he had 9 people on there, and this child would be the 10th individual insurance. So I wasn't able to calculate the insurance, but based on our discussion, I came up with a monthly amount of $1,425.87.
Thank you. I have nothing further of this witness, Your Honor. I would like to recall Mr. Averett to ask him about whether or not those children are his or if they're stepchildren.
Go ahead.
Mr. Averett, are the children living in your home your biological children?
Yes, ma'am. They're my biological children.
They're not stepchildren.
No, ma'am.
And then your 3 children in your other order, is one of those children already 18?
Yes, ma'am. He just turned 18 this year.
So you just have 2 other children that are not living with you that are under the age of 18?
Yes, ma'am.
So a total of 4.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Your Honor, I have nothing further.
Call your next witness.
I have no further witnesses, Your Honor.
I have a question.
I'll get right to you, Miss Randall. Let me ask some questions first, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Averett, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Mr. Averett, when Miss Finch testified, she seemed to indicate that the 2 children that are living with you in your apartment were your stepchildren. Why do you think she would come up with that?
I guess she must have misunderstood what I was saying.
So those 2 children that are in your apartment, those that live with you, those are your biological children. Is that correct?
Yes, I got 2 biological children that lives with me
And where is the mother of those 2 children?
in Louisiana.
Okay. And how old are those children?
12 and 13.
So they're there in the apartment by themselves during the day while you're working?
No, they're with their mother.
Oh, but their mother's in Louisiana.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Averett, you said that you make your gross is $3,500 every 2 weeks. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But you do make a lot more than that because of whatever additional circumstances you get paid for from your company, right?
That's like in catastrophic things go on in the area. Tornadoes or freezes happen and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, let's be honest about it, Mr. Averett. I mean, you testified that you make $3,500 over 2 weeks, but your employer told the state of Texas that you made over $145,000 last year. That's a lot more.
The math just doesn't add up. Mr. Everett insists he earns $3,500 every 2 weeks, yet his employer reports an annual salary of $145,000. So, who's telling the truth? This isn't a simple mix-up. It's a deliberate attempt to mislead. His blatant denial of clear evidence isn't just disrespectful to the court. It's a disservice to his own child. At this point, the issue goes beyond child support. It's about credibility. If he's willing to twist the facts here, what else is he hiding?
Like I said, I can get a letter from my employee stating what I'm saying today.
The problem, Mr. Averett, is that your employer has already told the Attorney General's office what they paid you last. Ms. Randall,
yes, sir.
Please don't say anything else while I'm talking to Mr. Averett.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But they told me also that if I needed to show the court a letter, they would write a letter stating that that don't happen here all the time for us in my department to make overtime like that.
Well, I completely understand that, Mr. Averett, but I mean, those were your wages for the last 12 months is what your employer told the AG's office, right? There's no guarantee, Mr. Averett, that you're going to make that kind of money in the future. I get it. But that is the income that you had last year, right?
Based on overtime, yes.
I do understand. I do understand, Mr. Averett, that overtime is not guaranteed, but you need to understand, sir, that your income is what it is, and it's what I'm required to set child support on, not what you think you might make in the future, but what you have made in the past. I don't have to guess, Mr. Averett, at what you made last year. I would have to guess what you're going to make next year.
So I showed Deja 2 months of paychecks where I only brought $1,800, $2,000, $1,600 a month, bi-weekly.
Well, Mr. Avert, the only problem with what your paycheck shows is your take-home pay is that you're already paying child support for other children in the state of Louisiana, right?
State of Texas.
Oh, the other two children are in the state of Texas too?
Yes, sir.
So you see, that's already coming out of your check. Do they take money out of your check for retirement?
Yes.
See, all of those things, Mr. Everett, you're not supposed to get credit for except for a computation calculation that I'm supposed to use.
Is he really blaming taxes and retirement deductions to justify shortchanging his child's support? Kids need real, immediate care, not excuses about his budget struggles. The court isn't here to balance his personal finances. It's about ensuring his child's needs are met. The fact that he's making this argument without a hint of shame is unbelievable. Complaining about the cost of parenting while neglecting his responsibility is as tone-deaf as it gets. It's time for a serious reality check.
What you make. You could jack up your income taxes, Mr. Avert, and have a whole lot of money taken out of your check every 2 weeks to hide tax money from me. It's just not going to work because I already have the calculation running.
Only thing I had coming out of my check is 401k, and that was only $300.
Okay.
That was it. Now I'm about to cut. I mean, that's the only thing coming out of my check. Everything else is federal tax, Social Security, Medicaid taxes, dental, life insurance for my kids, medical expenses, vision. That's all of that stuff is coming out of my check. There's nothing else pertaining to benefit me coming out of my check, but just that little 401k.
Okay.
That's it.
Well,
now I can show you that on paper. There's nothing that I'm hiding from anything. I work every day like, a normal person do. But what's going to happen if I don't know what the...
Mr. Everett's unpreparedness is nothing short of astonishing. This isn't some casual discussion. It's about securing his child's future. His failure to plan speaks volumes about his lack of concern. Why should the court make allowances for him when he hasn't even made an effort? This case isn't about his comfort. It's about his child's well-being. His indifference isn't just frustrating. It's unacceptable.
And be in arrears based on the other case that I have as well. If it is, it's going to need to be some modification. It's going to be modified.
How much is your child support in the other case, Mr. Avert?
I pay $700 and it's $800, almost $1,800 a month. It's $758, sometime a little bit more than that. Okay. Every 2 weeks to come out my check for those kids, for my kids there.
Miss Randall, did you have anything else that you wanted to offer?
Yes, I had a few questions that I had that I needed answered, if it can be answered. The first question I had was, how much monthly is he supposed to be paying for Journey? How much monthly?
According to my calculations, it's $1,435. That's what I calculated at.
Okay. I'm listening to you and everybody else, and he showed me his check stuff. So, but you guys are saying that it's like it's more. So it's like I'm like confused right now.
Miss Randall, let me see if I might be able to explain it to you. I don't guess when it comes to the numbers. I just listen to the testimony and then I base child support on what the evidence is. And the evidence is that Mr. Avert earned over $145,000 last year. So while I understand Mr. Avert's concerns that he may not make that much money in the future, I don't have anything that the ability to guess at what he might make in the future. I know what he made last year, and I can base child support on what he made last year because that's what's been reported.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
I can't set child support on what might happen in the future because I don't have any idea what the numbers would be.
Yes, sir.
In fact, Mr. Averett's child support is not even being, if I set child support at the number that I set it at, that's not even the max because he makes more money than that. I'm only going to set child support on the $9,200 a month net that he's reporting from his employer. He actually makes more than that. And I don't know where the money goes. That's none of my business. But I know his employer reported more money than that last year.
Yes, sir.
So I have another question.
So you're saying I got a question. I have a question.
Avery, I didn't ask you any more questions. Please don't interrupt me when I'm talking to Miss Randall.
I'm sorry.
Miss Randall, you said that you wanted to move to Houston. Why do you think you should be allowed to go to Houston?
I had wanted to start over and be closer to my family. I have family out there, which I have family out here too, where I'm at as well. But the family that I'm closer to is out there in Houston. And I would like to be closer and just get better opportunities a little bit. So that's why I wanted to move.
Well, that may be. The problem is that Mr. Everett is entitled to time with Journey.
So,
And if I let you move to Houston, then that's going to have a negative impact on Mr. Everett's ability to spend time with Journey, because based on his work schedule, he might find it difficult trying to go back and forth to see the child if he has to go all the way to Houston to pick up the child. You understand?
sir.
So that's the reason why there's a rule in place that prohibits you from doing